guys doing? I want to talk about the Atlanteans and many other Lemurians and many other cultures and origins. And to access this frequency, this origin that you come from, is accessing your true soul, your soul purpose, who you truly are. We are, and we always were the guardian of many dimensions. Okay. And what happened was, this will be my part one. Okay. What happened was there was a group of Anunnakis, okay, but they weren't really called Anunnakis. I'm hearing Anaka, okay, Anaka. That is the original name is Anaka, okay. They're saying Anaka, okay. So all these origins where we come from, and you guys may have memory of the origins where you come from and your true identity. And you may travel the world trying to seek out who you are, even with your ancestors, because we carry the DNA of our ancestors. But connecting to the true source is your soul, okay? Your true soul, your true essence. Many of us were the guardians. So when I talk about guardians, we were the guardians of many dimensions. When I say guardians, we helped, we protected, we watched over, and we loved other people, okay, other origins, okay. And what happened was there was a great war, okay. And I'm hearing them call them, they're not Anunnakis. I don't know why they call them Anunnakis. They're Anunnaka, something like that, okay? So that is their true name. And to access, hey queen, you guys, to access the tree of life, the Holy Grail, and all these other things they talk about is you, okay? It's not a cup. It's not a place. It is you. But a lot of you guys remember a time and a place where you once exist. And you're not crazy, okay? You're not crazy at all, okay? You know, because you're tapped into the highest frequency of your soul. So we're not looking external, we're looking internal. And by looking internal, is looking at yourself and your soul, okay? Now, many of us come from different origins of truth tellers and guardians, okay? Now, I know some of you guys may be like, Jen, I don't know what you're talking about, but just stay with me. So what happened was it's like portals, okay? So we are the portal, and we could access many portals, okay? Many portals of higher dimensional portals, okay? And we have this access, and we still do. But what happened was there was a group of individuals that decided that they did not want to stay in this frequency of love, authentic, and they wanted greed for themselves, okay? And this is where we come. Yes, Jen, I will stay with you. Hi, Loretta. So our true origins, many of you guys may remember your past life in Lemuria and Atlantis. Egypt was Atlantis. They all derive from the main source, okay? So when I talk about this stuff, it may sound foreign, right? And we're searching out there, right? Of a place, but the place is within us, okay? We are the portal, and we have access to these portals, okay? So when I hear about people talk about the Anunnakis, and they weren't called that. It was a name that was derived off of the original name, okay? And this is how they described them, but they didn't truly know who they were, because these things are not written in books, okay? These things are written in our DNA, in our memory, our conscious or subconscious. And we embody the true frequency of love, and we are the guardians. So when I say guardians, the guardians are the ones that watch over other dimensions, okay? Stay with me, you guys, okay? It is our soul, okay? We are portals. All of us are a portal, okay? We were interdimensional beings. We still are interdimensional beings. But what happened was, when they took over, and they wanted greed, and they wanted everything for themselves, they try to cut us off from source, okay? Hold on, you guys. So we will have a lot of distractions out here, and we will look for our true origins outside of ourselves, right? But our true origins lie within our true consciousness, okay? Our true soul, our true essence, okay? So this will be my part 1. I will do another part 2. And there's so many distractions, okay? Hold on, guys. So even with the music this man's playing, he just pulled up beside me playing his music loud, and I'm like way far away from any other cars. It's a frequency. It's a low vibrational frequency, and they want you in this low vibration frequency. So what they do is they use sound, okay? Sound is one of the highest frequencies besides love and authentic self, okay? So when you remember who you are consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously, where a place where you once exist and you still exist in that place, is because we really never left that place. We were just disconnected to the true source of who we truly are, and that is our soul, okay? And I'm not saying we're disconnected from our soul, because we're not, but we're disconnected as far as who we truly are. Now, many of you guys may remember these lives, and many of you guys may not remember, because they try to erase our memory, and they try to take control of all the other races, okay? And there was a great war, okay? They don't talk about this. I don't know if they talk about this. They're not going to find this in no books, because it's not in the books. It's in our DNA. It's in our it's in our consciousness. And we look for our true self outside, external, and everything that we need to activate and to understand who we are is internal, okay? It's not external, it's internal, okay? It's remembering, it's accessing, it's realizing that we are still here, okay? We never left. They just tried to erase what was. We're connected to everything, okay? They try to disconnect us from everything, but we're connected to everything, you guys. Everything we're connected to, okay? I'm talking about everything. Everything is interconnected. Um, and we're all interconnected to everything and everybody, okay? And everything is living, okay? Um, so what happened was, this is gonna be my part one, and then I'm gonna come back with a part two. I remember I did a reading on this subject, I think about a year or two ago, and I talked about the Sumerians, the Anunnakis, and I said in that video that a lot of you guys are descendants of the Anunnakis. And the reason why I said that is because they have mixed DNA, okay? So you can forget who you truly are, or your true origins of where you came from. I came from a place that was called Atlantis, okay? I remember my life in Atlantis. The Egyptians are the Atlanteans, okay? Now, they may tell you they're not, but they are the Atlanteans, okay? Many civilizations were Atlantean, Lemurians, and many other origins. And how they know your true origin of consciousness is through your blood, okay? The blood is the holy grail. I don't know how much I got to emphasize this. It's not a chalice, it's not a cup, it's the blood, okay? Your bloodline, okay, is the holy grail, okay? So when I talk about these things, some of you guys may be like, Jen, this don't sound right, this is foreign. But I remember who I was. And I remember my life in Atlantis. I remember the love, no disease, and being a guardian. And what I mean being a guardian is a guardian of knowledge, okay? Because a lot of people were guardians of knowledge, okay, and wisdom. And the Anunnakis did not have this kind of wisdom, okay? Because if they did, they wouldn't have separated, okay? But they came here to destroy. They came here to bring fear. I don't fear nothing. And people say, Jen, you have to fear something. I don't fear nothing. Because I have lived many lifetimes, and I will not live in a state of fear, chaos, and confusion, because that's what they want, and their greed is forever. Okay, they won't stop no matter what. They won't stop because of the greed that they have. Okay, they know this. Okay, now you have scientists out here, you have archaeologists, and for many years they've been trying to study this, trying to analyze this, and try to explain this, but not in the sense of knowing, okay? Because if they speak about this in the sense of knowing, they would know that we are true consciousness, okay? Not just true consciousness, we are true soul consciousness, right? We have memory of our lives, okay? Our origins. My origins were in Atlantis. I remember. I remember a lot, okay? I haven't forgotten, okay? And many of you guys may have not forgotten. And you might be looking and searching externally out there, searching for who you truly are, but you have to go internal, not external, okay? On my spiritual journey, I was searching and searching and searching, and I didn't find it out there. I found it within myself, okay? So do we have free will? Yes, we have free will. Are we being manipulated? Yes, we're being manipulated. And we're being manipulated by a species, okay? A Pacific species, okay? Now, when I was on the astral, they tried to trick me on the astral, but they couldn't trick me because I seen their true identity, okay? Many of you guys can see their true identity, okay? They come in different forms, okay? And I know this may sound crazy, and some of you guys may have talked about this to people, and they're like, what are you talking about? Okay. um, Atlantis was a real place, okay? The Atlanteans were real people, okay? I know that I am a descendant of Atlanteans. That's where my origins began, and where they will end, okay? And I will come, hopefully I won't come back in this lifetime, but if I do, I do, because everything that we learned is in our conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. And some people don't even remember because their memory has been erased, okay? And some of us do remember, okay? Our origins. So when I was talking that language, I didn't know at that time what language I was even speaking. I thought it was a native language, like an indigenous language. It was kind of like indigenous language, but it was Atlantean language, okay? And it wasn't just a language. They could telepathically communicate. They could telepathically teleport, okay? It was real magic, okay? And we are portals. Each and every one of us are portals. Each and one of us have true origins, and we carry these light codes and codes. It's just decoding these codes and looking internal instead of looking external, okay? So a lot of you guys may be soul searching external, but everything is internal, okay? So this will be my part one. It is so amazing that when I come across Atlantean, I know there was one girl I talk about all the time. She's my Atlantean sister. She lived a life with me in Atlantis, and I knew when I first met her that she was there at a time that I was there. Me and her talk about it and joke about it. But that is her true origins, okay? So, like, you know how they call the map Atlas, okay? Atlas was her real name, okay? And people are talking about Atlantia like it's like it was destroyed, but the people are still here, okay? There was many places that the Atlanteans lived, okay? They had kingdoms. I mean, not just kingdoms. I mean, they were everywhere, okay? So there's different origins. You have the Lemurians, you have the Atlanteans, you have the Plemidians. And when I talk about this, people are like, Plemidians? Yes, Plemidians. I have came across many different species. And the ones that I came across the most that I didn't that, how can I say it, they show themselves and many of you guys can see who they are, but what happened was they interbreed with pure-blooded Atlanteans, pure-blooded Sumerians, pure-blooded Plemidians. They interbreeded with our original DNA, okay? When they, so what happened was, okay, so say you're a woman and you met this man, okay? You see this man, a nice-looking man. You didn't even know this man was Enochian, and you inbred with him, and then you had a child, so the child's half Enochian and half Atlantean, okay? So they sliced our DNA, I'm hearing slice their DNA. And we had access to higher dimensions. Now, when they talk about the number 33, 33 is a number of a high dimension, okay? It's where learning took place, okay? That's why you'll see Freemasons use the number 33. 33 is actually a dimension, okay? And it's actually a place, okay? So what happened was they split our genes, they split our DNA. I'm hearing split, slice, our genetics and DNA, and they know your true origins through your blood. Okay, your blood is like a marker. Okay, a marker of your true origins. Okay, so this would be my part one. I have a lot of distractions, and this happens all the time, but I had to block out the distractions because I understand that they're just distractions from my true soul purpose. And I have awakening, and many of you guys have awakening to true love conscious, because this place, there was no disease. There was no disease. Okay, the only disease was fear and chaos. This was a place of love. This place was a place of learning. This place was a place for guardians, okay, to learn to help others, okay. And there was a war, okay, a war, okay. And what happened was, I'm going to do this in my part two and explain to you what I've seen and what the people say, but what I experienced in Atlantis, with Atlas, okay? And it's very interesting that they named this thing that's coming to Earth Atlas, okay? So somebody's watching my shit and took the name of the original Atlas, okay? Her name was Atlas, okay? I'm telling you, her name was Atlas. I remember everything, okay? And I'm activating these codes so I can explain to you guys, because a lot of you are Atlantean, a lot of you guys are Sumerian, you just don't remember, okay? A lot of you guys are from Series A, Series B, Series C, okay? And some people that know and fully are aware, hey, and fully aware and fully know who they are, they guard this knowledge, okay? Because what happened was, this knowledge, not all knowledge was given, okay? But they guard this knowledge because a race of beings took this knowledge, okay? They took it, they manipulated it for their own greed, okay? And they cause chaos and fear, okay? So you can't even have the time to remember who the hell you are. But remember, okay? So what you're searching for is not outside in the physical plane of existence. What you're searching for is inside your soul. That is what you're searching for. The answers lie within your soul. Now, we carry the DNA of our ancestors, okay? Many generations of DNA is stored within our soul body, okay? This will be my part one, and I will come back with a part two. And some people actually see these beings Anak, and they think that they can actually see them, okay? Like really see them, okay, for in their true form, okay? But you got to understand, we have hybrids because they have sliced the DNA, they have inbred in with certain DNAs purposely, okay? But this will be my part one. I will come back with the part two. When I talk about Atlas, Atlas was a real person. It's not no fictional fictional or non-fictional, whatever how they say it. It was real, okay? The place was real. I remember, okay? I remember these codes. I remember the life. I remember the peace. I remember the wisdom. I remember the magic, the true magic, the true codes, okay? And no matter how much they try to manipulate the true codes, we are the codes, okay? We carry the codes. We carry the codes in our DNA, okay? So this is why some people can't remember who they truly are and their origins, their original origins. They don't remember, but I remember. Okay, so don't forget, remember, and don't look for things external or out external, because everything you need to know about yourself is internal. Okay, it's internal, it's not external. You can visit Egypt, you can visit many places, and you still won't find the answers. Okay, because the answers, it might and the place that they call the true Egypt is not even the true Egypt. Okay, the pyramids, the original pyramids, are farther up than the original pyramids are. Okay, and I've never been to Egypt, but I know this. Okay, so there's so much I want to talk about, and I can't get it all out on video. So I'm going to have to do it in little parts and just describe the place that I once lived. What was it? The crystals, the crystallines, and all this beautiful stuff. I mean, it was beautiful. There was no suffering. There was no disease. There was no fear. There was no chaos. And it was true love and true free will. Do we have free will on this dimension, and how we got to this dimension? Some people got tricked. Some people got sliced DNA. Some people just don't remember because they don't want you to remember who you are. But a lot of people are waking up. I have somebody that sent me an email and said that they remember a time in Atlantis, and they're trying to awaken those codes. And how you awaken those codes is by remembering. Okay, remembering. So remembering is remembering who you truly are. Okay, so this will be my part 1. I will come back with a part 2. I know a lot of you guys may be like, Jen, this is great, this don't sound right. See, scientists and anthropologists, whatever they call them, people, if they don't know who they are, right, and they're out there searching for something that is not even out there, okay, it's within them, okay, and a lot of them, they don't even know the true story, because the story has been told. The truth wasn't told about these places and about these origins and about my descendants and many other descendants. And the reason why is because they don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to wake up. They don't want you to remember the light codes. And it's interesting because I see a lot of Atlanteans, and they do a lot of work in the healing communities, but they don't even remember their origin of birth. Okay, they don't remember. When I came across my Atlantean sister, she knew that she had past lives in healing, but she didn't know her origins, and I was trying to explain to her origins was in Atlantis. Okay, and she's activating those light codes. She's remembering. Okay, and she's out here really healing people. I mean, healing people. And what happens, so this will be my part 1. I'm gonna leave it here. I'll be back with a part 2 and maybe a part 3, and we can talk more on this. It's very interesting, the truth, okay, and the truth is the only way out. And the truth also, what's going to happen is history will repeat itself unless we wake up to our truth. Okay, our truth lies within. not without, okay? So our truth lies within us, within our DNA, within our consciousness, our subconscious, our unconsciousness. But when you're in a state of trance, you don't remember, okay? And how they put us in a state of trance is by the music, by the food, um, by sickness, all kinds of stuff, okay? So you don't remember, okay? But I remember, okay? So this will be my part one, and I will come back with many more, and talk about my fellow Atlanteans and the truth about the Atlantean race, and the beautiful people that came from this place called Atlantis, with Atlas. Her name was Atlas, okay? So I will be back with many more videos, you guys. So we do have distractions, and that is always going to be there. But if we don't wake up to our true self, what happens is history repeats itself, okay? So I will be back with many more stories of my life, and they call it Atlanteans, but I call it Atlas, because that's the true origins and true name is Atlas, okay? So this will be my part one, and I will come back with many more. And I remember I also was channeling a woman, and I'm trying to remember her name. I think she was Sumerian, and she was a female too, okay? Um, and Ishtar, okay, Ishtar, okay? So these people took on like gods, like they called themselves gods. They weren't even gods, but they called themselves gods. So but they weren't gods, okay? So I was channeling a woman from, I think she was Sumerian. I don't think she was from Atlantis. I think she was Sumerian, okay? And her name was Ishtar, okay? And so I'll be back with many more stories. So this will be my part one. Thank you guys for joining me. This is Jennifer Felix. Comment below your thoughts, and maybe this will go over some of y'all heads, but that's okay, okay? And maybe some of you guys will remember, okay? All right, this is Jennifer Felix. Thank you guys. Bye.